In the summer of 1939, as Europe teetered on the brink of war, a small yet formidable part of Poland's national defense prepared for a journey that would forever change the course of its future. The Polish Navy, outnumbered and outgunned, embarked on a daring mission to escape the clutches of Nazi Germany and preserve its fleet for the inevitable fight against the Axis powers. This is the story of courage, survival, and defiance in the face of overwhelming odds. The Polish Navy of the 1930s was a relatively young force. Following Poland's return to independence in 1918, after over a century of partitions, rebuilding its naval forces became a priority. By the eve of World War II, the Polish Navy had grown into a small but proud fleet, consisting of destroyers, submarines, and coastal defense ships. Their main mission is to defend Poland's Baltic coastline and protect maritime trade routes from foreign threats. However, Poland's geography presented a unique challenge. The nation was hemmed in by two aggressive powers, Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler and the Soviet Union under Joseph Stalin. As tensions escalated across Europe, it became increasingly clear that Poland would be one of the first targets of Nazi expansion. The Baltic Sea, a critical artery for Poland's maritime economy and military strategy, would soon become a battleground. Adolf Hitler's ambitions were no secret. His plan was to invade Poland quickly, using the full force of the German war machine. For the Polish Navy, the situation was dire. The Baltic Sea was expected to fall under complete German control once war broke out. The Kriegsmarine, Germany's formidable navy, would blockade the Polish coastline, and Luftwaffe bombers would target Polish naval bases. The survival of the Polish fleet seemed unlikely. In the face of this looming threat, the Polish military command knew they had to act. The idea of evacuating key elements of the Polish fleet was first proposed as early as 1938. The High Command understood that if war broke out, the Polish Navy would be trapped in the Baltic, cut off from any chance of escape or reinforcement. Thus, they formulated Operation Peking, a plan to send Poland's three most modern destroyers to Britain, where they could continue to fight alongside the Allies, far from the immediate threat of German forces. The destroyers ORP Błyskawica, ORP Burza, and ORP Grom were chosen for the mission. These ships, built in the mid-1930s, were among the most advanced in the Polish fleet. Fast, well-armed, and capable of defending themselves against both air and sea attacks, they represented Poland's best hope for continuing the naval fight abroad. On August 29, 1939, just days before the outbreak of war, the order was given. Operation Peking would commence. The Polish Navy was to set sail from Gdynia and head westward through the dangerous waters of the Baltic towards the North Sea and on to Britain. As the Polish ships slipped out of port on August 30, 1939, they knew they were sailing straight into danger. By this time, Germany had already positioned submarines and surface ships to monitor any Polish naval movements. The Baltic Sea was a confined space, and the Kriegsmarine was eager to destroy any vessels that could threaten their control. Even more worrying was the presence of German Luftwaffe aircraft, which patrolled the skies ready to strike. For hours, the Polish ships sailed in silence, zigzagging to avoid detection by German submarines. The tension on board was palpable. Any moment could bring disaster. In fact, the ships had several close encounters with German U-boats. At one point, ORP Błyskawica narrowly dodged a torpedo, escaping destruction by mere seconds. The Polish destroyers had to remain constantly on guard. As day turned to night, the danger only increased. Nighttime meant that submarines would have the advantage of using the cover of darkness to launch their attacks. But the skill of the Polish sailors, combined with their determination, helped them evade the German wolf packs. After 2 days of nerve-wracking sailing, the Polish ships finally reached the safety of British waters on September 1, 1939, the very day that Germany launched its full-scale invasion of Poland. The success of Operation Peking was a bittersweet victory. While the destroyers had escaped, Poland was now under siege. The sailors knew that their homeland was fighting for its very survival. The Polish ships were warmly welcomed by the British Royal Navy. The destroyers immediately began preparations to join the Allied war effort. The sailors, though filled with relief, could not help but feel a deep sense of loss for the homeland they had left behind. While Poland's land forces fought heroically against the German invasion, the Polish Navy, now based in Britain, began to play a crucial role in the Battle of the Atlantic. The destroyers that had escaped during Operation Peking were assigned to protect Allied convoys from German U-boat attacks. The North Atlantic was one of the most dangerous theaters of the war, with convoys constantly under threat from submarine wolf packs. ORP Błyskawica quickly became one of the most famous Polish ships of the war. In May 1940, during the evacuation of Allied forces from Dunkirk, Błyskawica provided crucial anti-aircraft support, helping protect the evacuation from Luftwaffe bombing raids. Later, during the Battle of Britain, the destroyer defended British coastal towns from German air attacks. The Polish Navy's contributions were not limited to destroyers. Polish submarines, including the famed ORP Burza, also played a critical role in disrupting German shipping lanes. Though small in number, the Polish Navy proved to be a vital asset to the Allied war effort, with Polish sailors often serving side by side with their British counterparts. The daring escape of the Polish Navy was more than just a strategic decision. It was a symbol of the enduring spirit of the Polish people. Despite the occupation of their homeland and the loss of millions of lives, Poland never gave up the fight. The Polish Navy's contribution to the Allied cause was a testament to that unbreakable will. Today, the legacy of Operation Peking lives on. The ORP Błyskawica, one of the ships that escaped in 1939, now serves as a museum in Gdynia, Poland. It stands as a monument to the bravery of the sailors who risked everything to keep their country's naval tradition alive, even in exile. Their story is one of resilience and sacrifice. For the sailors of the Polish Navy, the sea became both their battleground and their refuge. And though they sailed under a foreign flag for much of the war, they never forgot where they came from or what they were fighting for. The escape of the Polish Navy in 1939, though little known compared to other events of World War II, was a crucial chapter in the larger story of Poland's fight for survival. In the face of overwhelming odds, these sailors chose to flee not in fear, but in defiance, determined to continue the fight for their homeland, no matter the distance. Their bravery, perseverance, and sacrifice ensured that Poland's spirit lived on, even in exile, and their legacy continues to inspire those who value freedom and honor the courage of those who fight for it.